Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 20 of What If Naruto Was a Smart Prodigy. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit that I posted on this channel, and enjoy that guys. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Was Otsutsuki King over on Anime King 2. So go ahead and check it out and enjoy. And later on, I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Pain was facing off against Naruto. As he split his focus, he sent 3 of them to face off against Jiraiya and Yugito, but they were having a difficult time as Jiraiya and Yugito were beating them down, as Naruto managed to handle the 3 on his end, as Nagato was sitting on top of a bird, watching the entire thing along with Konoha. As his focus was split, he summoned his 3 others over here, as he realizing his control is different, with him having his body and his legs back. Black Zetsu and Madara was watching the battle, as they were waiting for the moment when they can break Naruto. As the battle went on, Sasuke was facing off against Itachi at Konoha, as the both of them were pushing each other, as Sasuke activated Susanoo, Itachi going into his Susanoo as well. As Sasuke tried to break Itachi's Susanoo defense, but no matter what he did, he couldn't break it. But Sasuke pushed this all, as the both of them went at it fiercely. The both of them rushed toward each other with a loud boom. When Itachi awoken, he felt his body in extreme pain, with bandages over his eyes. As he heard a voice, it was Sakura, as she told him she cured his sickness. He then heard Sasuke in the room, as Sasuke was talking as well. As Sasuke told him that he gave him Shisui's eyes, giving Itachi the Eternal Mangita Sharingan, and Sasuke took Itachi's eyes, gaining the Eternal as well. As Tsunade came in the room, as she welcomed Itachi back to Konoha and told him to rest up because the fight is still not over. There are still bad guys out there. Back with Naruto fight, when Naruto saw Yugito and Jiraiya arrive, as they dealt with the other paths of pain, leaving Nagato behind. But Madara then arrived and grabbed Yugito, as Naruto told him he wouldn't kill her because she had a Biju inside of her, and they wanted that. But Madara stabbed a rod right into her neck, as her lifeless body fell to the ground. As Naruto rushed over, Madara vanished, as Naruto couldn't believe what he just saw. But moments earlier, Madara had took the real Yugito and sealed her away inside of a dome which she couldn't break, as White Zetsu was taking some of her chakra and transforming into her. The real Yugito was still alive. As Madara was hoping a Naruto breaking or him going rampage, destroying a village, and that would be bad for him as well. As Naruto exploded in anger, as Naruto created a wooden fox that was large, towered over the inner rain, as Naruto sent it to destroy the inner rain just to make Pain suffer, as he was going to kill Madara as well. Pain tried to stop it, but Naruto bested him as the both of them started a battle. As Naruto flashed away, Pain then heard a squealing sound, as he turned to see Konoha, as Naruto held her tight, squeezing her throat, holding a kunai at her neck, as he was about to make Nagato feel the same pain that he felt. He's always going on about pain, so it's time for him to feel pain. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. you guys can switch across the page and check out for your sub. So, what do you say we start this new episode? No, said Nagato. As Naruto kunai headed straight towards Konan's neck. Nagato was shocked. The kunai just pressed on her neck. And no blood came. I can't do this, Naruto said, removing the kunai. My sensei taught me better. Naruto then felt something. As his eyes widened. Yuji-chan, he said. As Naruto flashed away from Konan. As Nagato went over to her. As Naruto was staring over at the Hinarine. And Nagato knew why. As Naruto could feel Yugito, chakra spike, accessing the Nimbus power she was doing, and spiking her chakra, Naruto's heart jumped in his chest. Naruto Fox stopped its assault on the Hinarine, as it would clone this spell, dropping the other Yugito, as his Fox jumped back out to the lake, ending the attack on the Hinarine. Meanwhile, Yugito stopped flaring her chakra, as one of Naruto's tail of the Fox had crushed the barrier, allowing her freedom. As Yugito saw Naruto flash right in front of her. As Naruto couldn't believe it. Please tell me this is real, he said, as he slowly walked up to her. Please tell me this is real, he said. As she looked at him, she could feel his chakra, as the emotions radiating off of him through his eyes and his chakra fluctuation. She just wrapped her arms around him as she whispered in his ear. Yes, Naruto-kun, this is real me, she said. As he put his arms around her, hugging her tight. The other me was a clone. Some kind of special clone that guy made somehow. I saw that Fox, by the way. Are you okay? Yugito felt a wet spot in her shoulder as she moved her head back, as tears were streaming from her eyes, as he planted a gentle kiss on her lips. I thought I lost you, he said, as he kissed her again. I thought they killed you, tears still pooling from his eyes. She just smiled, she wiped away the tears and kissed him. I'm here, Naruto, she said, as Naruto just smiled at her. As he stopped and looked around, as he saw hundreds of Rain Shinobis, all of them staring at him and Yugito. Naruto could feel the emotions of the Rain Ninjas, as one of them pointed their swords towards them. You dare come to the Hidden Rain and attempt to destroy it, the man said, as his sword trembled as he pointed. Not because of how angry he was, but he was scared of what he saw the Fox destroying half his village. As Naruto looked at the man, as he nodded his head. I'm sorry for the destruction I caused your village, Naruto said, as the man was shocked at the apology. But you... Stop, a voice said, as everyone turned. All of the Rain Shinobis dropped their weapons as he quickly bowed. Pain-sama, the man said. Please stand. And my name is Nagato. As the man slowly nodded. As Nagato stepped forward, as both him and Naruto's eyes met. The Rinnegan looking at the sage Kyuubi eyes. How do you do it? Naruto grabbed Yugito's hand a bit tighter, as he felt her give him a squeeze in return. How do I do what exactly? Naruto asked, as Nagato elaborated. She died in front of you. It may not have been her, but you didn't know until she spiked her chakra. Especially consider your actions that followed. So tell me, how did you not kill Konan, or even allow your fox to decimate my village completely? You could have let it land in the heart of my village, but instead it only attacked the remote area that Hanzo lived in, that no one come close to. There was no death, no injury. How? How did you not submit to pain and revenge? Tell me, how did you do it? You're wrong. I wanted nothing more than to kill you, Konan, and your entire village. But what would that solve? My sensei taught me that this world is full of hate, but hate only causes more hate. It's a never-ending cycle. If I kill you, who's to say one of your ninjas won't come to my village and try to hurt me by taking away one of my loved ones? My goal is to stop the cycle of hatred and bring this world to true peace. And I would be going exactly against my goal if I did what I truly wanted back then. How can you say that? How do you know your goal won't change? Or that you won't fail? Naruto channeled his chakra as the orange fox in his right hand glowed. A poof of smoke in a book dropped out as Naruto caught it. This world is cursed, and because of that, peace is impossible. Then, I'll break that curse. If there is such a thing as peace, I will obtain it. I promise, Naruto said. You have proven to me that I won't change. Even after you killed the girl of my dreams, my world, I still didn't succumb to the pain and change. Maybe it's because of this book. My name, Naruto, it does come from the main character's name. Nagato eyes slightly as he recognized the book. The Tale of the Gutsy Shinobi, written by Jiraiya, the Toad Sage, said Nagato, as Naruto nodded. I may not know exactly how to find that piece, said Naruto as he placed the book back in the seal. But I know that I'll try, and I continue to try, and in the end if my methods doesn't change the world, I will move on to the next. And continue until I find it. I won't give up. I will never give up, and that's my ninja way. A small smile came on Nagato's face. As he turned, Naruto Senju, he said, "Come with me. We have many things to discuss." Naruto looked at Yugito who only nodded her head, as he looked to see Jiraiya smile at him. As Naruto walked behind Pain, with Yugito holding his hand. As the rain ninjas looked around. "What the hell just happened?" one of them said. "Yeah, I mean, he didn't kill any of us, but he did attack our village." Yes, an elderly ninja said. "You're right, he did attack our village, but he didn't kill anyone. Frankly, he only destroyed the part of the village no one go to. That huge plot that once belonged to Hanzo turned ruins. Plus, one of the other ninjas said, if we were to fight him, that thing will come back." A thunderous roar from Naruto's fox could be heard, as all of the rain ninjas just nodded. "You're right, let's just go and have a drink. Nagato-sama will handle it." Time skip, 3 days later, Konoha main gate. "Tsunade-sama, they're coming back," said Sakura, as she watched her sensei walk back in front at the main gate. "Sensei!" "I'm sorry, Sakura," said Tsunade as she stopped. "It's just, they were supposed to be back by now. Or at least make contact with me to let me know they're alive." As Sakura nodded as she understood, "Naruto and Yugito are going to Kumo afterwards," said Sakura. "Only Jiraiya will officially come back here. And I'm sure he's gonna come back here right away to contact you and tell you everything." "I know, but still, they're late, and I can't help but feel this way." Sakura just nodded, but before she could say anything, a loud poof appeared. "So this is where Naruto got that from," said Sakura, as Jiraiya was standing on top of a large toad. "There is just no reason for doing that." From the sacred lands of the toad, Jiraiya was cut off as he was grabbed into a bone-crushing hug by Tsunade. She released him. "I miss you too, Heim," he said. "What took you all so long?" she questioned. "I thought you all would be done there sooner. Did you run into trouble?" "Was Naruto or Yugito hurt? Are you hurt?" she asked. "We are all fine, Heim." Yugito and the kid headed to Kumo, as he pulled out a photo of the both of them looking healthy 1 day prior, as he bit his thumb. "It took us so long because of this," he said, as he summoned a toad. The toad opened his mouth and gave Jiraiya a scroll. Jiraiya took it as the toad vanished as he gave it to Tsunade. Tsunade opened a large scroll. After a few minutes of reading, she gasped. "The Rain want to join us in an alliance?" she said, shocked, as Jiraiya simply nodded his head. She then noticed several shinobis on the scroll, Akatsuki members, and their abilities. "I'm assuming that Naruto copied this info and is going to give it to the rest of the alliance." "Yeah, the kid did it all, and I can't wait to tell you how." Tsunade narrowed her eyes at him. "Okay, get to telling then. What's stopping you?" she asked, as a smile came on Jiraiya's face. "Glad to, tonight. On our date," he said, as Tsunade's eyes widened. "You remember that little black dress?" Tsunade blew out a sigh. "One date," she said, as Jiraiya just nodded and told her you pick her up at 7. Later that day, "It's time," Sakura said, as she was looking at Itachi and Sasuke. "Who's first?" she asked, as Sasuke got up and pulled the bandage from the back of his head. After removing it, his eyes were closed as he moved towards the mirror. He slowly opened his eyes. "They're beautiful," said Sakura, as Sasuke looked at his new Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, as he could feel the power radiating off the eyes. "I need to test these," he thought, as he then watched as Itachi slowly removed his bandages, as Itachi looked in the mirror to see his own Eternal Mangekyo. As Itachi's eyes were now 8 lines, all going around from the center of the eye. "It kind of looked like a fish boat steering wheel," said Sakura. Itachi brought up his hands and moved it a few times. "I'm sure of the illness. It really worked," he said. "I have to thank you again," he said to Sakura. "Don't mention," she said. As Itachi then turned towards Sasuke, as Sasuke looked at his brother. "You want to test your eyes, don't you?" asked Itachi. As Sasuke nodded. 10 minutes later, Sasuke was lying on the ground as he was panting pretty heavily. As Itachi stood over him with a small smile on his face. Snazzy and Sakura were distance away. The both of them had shocked expressions on their faces. Itachi Uchiha's animal, thought Snazzy, having just watched a spar between the two Uchiha brothers. Just how much did that illness affect him? And now it's gone, just how much powerful is he? He made it look like Naruto in that aspect. He made things just look effortless between him and Sasuke. Sasuke had the same idea as he was handled by his brother just now. It wasn't even close. Sasuke cursed. "I felt like I was 6 again. Just how strong are you?" As Itachi remained smiling. "Get stronger and you may find out." As Snazzy then landed in front of Itachi. "Is that?" he asked, as she had some item in her hands. "Yes," she said, as she held the Envoy uniform in her hand and some documents. "Itachi Uchiha, I, Snazzy Senju, pardon you of all crimes against the land of fire and Konoha as a whole. You are a free man and your wanted picture will be removed from every bingo book." Itachi just stood still after hearing that information. Having been on the run for so long, having to hide his face. Granted, he couldn't really show his face around Konoha from his previous actions, but he was still free. "And due to your circumstances," said Snazzy, Itachi already knew that this would happen. "You've been drafted into Root as its first commander. Congratulations. Sasuke Uchiha will guide you for the next couple of weeks until you get normalized with the Root program. Remember, we want people to think that you're dead and that Sasuke killed you. That is why he has your eyes. To prove it. But you may want or need to go to the mainland eventually. And I have a way that you can." "You're going to disguise me? How is that possible?" Itachi asked. "A special transformation only I know," she said. She pointed to herself. "Unless you run out of chakra, it won't change," he said. "Maybe I'm being blessed by God," Itachi thought, as he get ready for the weeks ahead. Meanwhile, "Really?" said Yugito, as she and Naruto was walking hand to hand, as it was Killer B's birthday and she had a present for him. "You never met him before? Well, I guess you just came to Kumo to see me, right?" "Yeah, that's the reason," she said. "True, he's annoying as everyone says, though," Naruto asked. "Everyone's perspective is different," said Yugito. "Some people adore him, like his students, and much of Kumo who loves his rapping concerts. Some people can't stand his stupid rapping like me and the Raikage. But you can't help but love the guy. He's amazing when you really get down to it. He will grow on you, that's for sure." "How long is this walk?" Naruto asked. 5 miles. 5 miles? Why can't we just run?" "We can, but I want to hear what happened in the hidden rain. You never told me anything I want to know." I might even take you behind one of these mountains and have my way with you," she said, as Naruto grew tempted at that, for her to have her way with him, as he began his story to tell her what happened. 5 miles away, I'm Killer B, the best MC. My flow is heavy, and the time to start this party is ready. B, the party doesn't start for at least 2 more hours. You should save her rapping for then, said the 8 Hills. Maybe you're right, but I can flow all night. B then turned his head as he felt a few people arrive outside his home. Seems some people are here. The birthday party is about to appear, he said, as he walked outside to see some people standing there. His demeanor changed quickly as he saw it was 4 people, all wearing cloaks that only one group was known for. Akatsuki, he said, as B recognized all of them from the books. In front of him were Hidan, Kakazu, Deidara, and Kisame. "Kisame, you need to handle him fast," said Deidara, "because once you start fighting, the whole of Kumo will be coming, and we can only hold them back for so long." As Kisame stepped forward and raised Sami hat and placed on his shoulder. "The name is Kisame, a pleasure to meet you." As a smile came on Kisame's face as he rushed towards B. The same time, at the hidden rain, Nagato was screaming out in pain and agony as his body felt on fire from the legs up. Nagato could not control his body anymore as the masked man in front of him was holding a hand sign. "What did you do to me?" Nagato said. "You think you can just betray me and not receive consequences? Not only did you not beat the Kyuubi, well, I would have been okay if he defeated you. But you allow him to leave, and with information on all of the Akatsuki members, I would have done this sooner if I didn't think that he would stop me." Nagato looked up with a smirk. "There is nothing you can do about it. It's already been done, and even if I die here, There's nothing you can do to stop Naruto. You can't beat him as you are. I know it, and so do you. Even with your special jutsu, you will have to touch him, and in that instant he will kill you without hesitation. You already lost, you're just prolonging the inevitable. That's where you're wrong. As Zetsu appeared in the room as well. You think I wouldn't have safeguards if you ever betray me. You see those cells that I used to reconstruct your legs, they were created out of Zetsu. Meaning 20% of your body is of my creation, a creature I control. And due to it sinking the rest of your body, I control you as well. Nagato knew that it was useless the moment he felt that stinging sensation. He knew this day would come, but he never knew that Masked Man had such a leg over on him. As Nagato laughed at his own pun, as Naruto would have probably laughed, he said out loud, "The 2 days Naruto stay here, he really grew on him. It seems I won't be able to see the true peace Naruto will bring about this world. Do well, Naruto. I believe in you," he said. As Nagato felt Zetsu melt over his body and take full control, as he went through hand signs, outer path, Samsara of heavenly light technique. As Zetsu forced Nagato to channel his chakra, Nagato felt the strain of the jutsu as blood came from his nose, his hair turned white. As he turned back to the old man he looked like before, his ribs could be seen. Zetsu then detached himself. As Nagato looked up, "Who did you bring back?" he said. The masked man walked over to him. "That is none of your concern," he said, as he reached down and ripped out Nagato's eyes. "Thank you for collecting 6 bijus for me, but the way you are right now, you're hopeless." As he then left in a swirling vortex, as Nagato remained blind on the ground. "I'm sorry, Konan," he said the last breath, as his body finally gave out on him. Konan would eventually come up from running errands to find him, and surely be devastated, as Nagato prayed that she stay strong and lead the hidden rain in his death though. Naruto would surely help with that, and to allow Nagato to die with a smile on his face. The masked man arrived in a place with a large bone that seemed to be the fossil of a dinosaur, as he took a deep breath before walking inside, as he could feel someone already sitting inside there. "So you actually went through with it?" said a man with a smile on his face, as the masked man just nodded. The masked man handed the man the 2 Rinnegan eyes, as the man easily placed them inside his eye socket that were empty. As Zetsu arrived, "Welcome back, Madara," he said, as Madara stood with his Rinnegan eyes shining brightly. Moments later, Tobi stood by Madara. "6 bijus, Madara said, as Madara was disappointed. Black Zetsu came from the ground. "Madara-sama, the last 3 bijus are in one place," said Black Zetsu, as the white half continued for him. "The Nibi, the Hatsubi, and the Kyubi. They're all faced off against the last members of the Akatsuki. But it does seem like Jinchuriki would succeed. But you can just take him after the result of the battle." He looked over at Tobi. "It appears that you have given a chance to make up for your mistake. We will go now and finish Project Tsukiyomi." Tobi merely nodded as he placed a hand on Madara's back, as a spiral vortex appeared and took the both of them away. "This should be interesting," said Black Zetsu, as he disappeared into the ground. 10 minutes earlier at Kumo, "We never get a break from these guys," Naruto says. He jumped away from Kakatsu, as he then dashed towards him, swinging his sight widely, as Naruto leaped away from him. 20 minutes ago everything was calm, when they just saw B shifting to the Hatsubi, as Yugito realized that B did something like that when he was in the confine of Kumo. He must be in some sort of battle, as they came upon the scene to see him facing off against the remaining member of the Akatsuki, as Yugito went to deal with Deidara, as Naruto took on the zombie duo. Each of the Jinchurikis were separated on 3 different mountain peaks that turned the platform because of their battle, almost in a triangle if one were to look from above, as Naruto was up against 2 of them, as the zombie duos were relentless in their assault, not even slowing down one bit. But Naruto had information on the both of them. Even though he's immortal, Hidan wasn't that good. He let his immortality push his S rank, because certainly he wasn't that S rank ninja. Eventually Naruto stopped dodging as he pulled out a 3 from kunai, blocking the sight with ease. Naruto slammed his foot into Hidan's chest, sending him sailing backwards. As Naruto looked over to Kakatsu to see him standing still, just staring at him, a black being then appeared, with black shreds making up his body. It had on a white mask, with red painting on it. "Fire style, intelligent hard work," said Kakatsu, as a stream of flames engulfed Naruto completely from the fire mass. The fire blazed for a while, then came to a stop to reveal Naruto burning but it was only a wood clone. Kakazu then saw his mask get dragged into the ground from another pair of Naruto clone, as another clone was behind it in mid-air, a Rasengan coming down, as it smashed it straight into the mask's face, breaking it, as the threads went limp like it died. As Naruto turned towards Kakazu, one heart down, 4 more to go. Kakazu was surprised. He has information on me? As Hidan dashed forward, ready to strike Naruto from behind. The kid is definitely no pushover, said Kakazu. I have to be careful about my approach. All I need is one hit, one touch, said Hidan. Come on, kid, just mess up once, he says, he's swinging his sight. You're too slow to touch me, Naruto says, he blocked several strikes with his kunais. As he then felt Kakazu appear behind him, an orange shroud of chakra exploded from Naruto as he vanished from view. Kakazu eyes widened at the speed as Naruto appeared behind Hidan, the kunai launched in his chest. The Kyuubi, you tamed it, said Kakazu, seeing the orange glow and Naruto's slight eyes. As Naruto merely looked at Kakazu spit out those black threads before hearing Hidan's voice. You asshole, that hurt, Hidan shouted. Well, I could have put this kunai in your brain to see what you would have done, but it seems you really are completely immortal. That's amazing. As Hidan just gave Naruto a smug look. Yeah, so now you see how useless fighting me is. Just give up, kid. You're wasting your time. But Naruto turned the kunai. Damn it, kid, I'm immortal. What part of that you don't get? Unknowing to Hidan, the small seal on Naruto's kunai glowed as he spread across Hidan's back. As Naruto stepped back and slammed his hands together. Uzumaki sealing technique, he said. As Naruto slammed his hand on the ground, a seal surrounded Hidan as the Uzumaki seal was on the ground, shining brightly red, as it sparkled with lightning, as it then changed color, glowing blue. As Hidan was pulled into the ground, all of his kicking and screaming couldn't help him, as he was sealed into the earth with Naruto kunai there, as like a gravestone. As Naruto just nodded at his work, before turning back to Kakazu. Hidan was a fool to allow Uzumaki to touch him that long, said Kakazu. Let's see how you compare to Hashirama. As Kakazu squatted down, Naruto watched the threads exploded from him, giving him a new appearance. The remaining 3 masses came from different sides of his face, all of them preparing another element. Kakazu then floated up to the sky. As Naruto looked up with a smile on his face. At least he's not as dumb as his partner, Naruto said. Why am I happy about that? It's just gonna make the fight harder. As the 3 blasts rained down on Naruto with Killer Bee. Oh, Hatsubi, you're probably the strongest ninjutsu I ever faced. Maybe outside of Naruto-san, said Kisame as he completely merged with Samehata, giving him a shark-like feature. As Bee had transformed to full Hatsubi state. This water prison is mighty big, but Killer Bee is still gonna split your wig. Wee, Bee said. As Bee was currently inside of a massive water dome. In his full Biju form, in his mindscape, he was tapped on the head by the 8 tails. Conserve your ear. Stop all that useless rapping. This opponent is strong. I know that, Edo. I'm taking this seriously. Just give me a bit of your chakra, and we will wipe you out with a Biju bomb, said B without rapping. As Hatsubi just nodded, outside of the mindscape, a violent ball began to form as Kisame just watched the potent chakra. That's a lot of opponent you're building up, Hatsubi. Too bad though, said Kisame as he slapped his hands together. I'm your worst opponent. A large water shark appeared as Kisame was inside of his mouth. Kisame thrust his arms out as the water shark dashed forward as B released his massive Biju bomb. Biju bomb, water style, great sharp bully technique. The 2 techniques met with Kisame eating B's jutsu and growing size as he headed straight towards the Biju. Killer Bee was shocked as he couldn't do nothing at the speed that Kisame was going, as he took attack right on the chin. As Kisame detonated, sending Bee flying out of the water prison with great force. Seconds later, what the hell, that thing ate a Biju bomb, Bee thought, as he was on the ground, inversion cloak 1, as he only had 4 tails behind him. Bee then quickly leaped backwards, but Kisame already swiped at him, taking away the chakra. As Bee landed, you know, Samehata has never been this excited about someone's chakra before, said Kisame holding the sword that was dancing around in his hand, as Samehata was even larger than Kisame itself after absorbing so much of Bee's chakra. Thank you, Hatsubi. Now just stay still and I'll cut off both of your legs. As he stepped forward, a blue blur appeared, covered in pure lightning, that smacked right into Kisame, that sent him sailing as he smashed into the side of the mountain. As A stood there, bathed in his lightning armor, with his elbow extended. He then looked over to B. "Thanks bro," said B. "B, stay down and regain your chakra. I'll handle him," said A, as he took off towards the swordsman. With Yugito. "Why do we have to get a long distance one, kitten?" said Nibi. Yugito was in the process of dodging another clay bird from the bomber, as she continued to jump away from the long range assault. "I'm not too sure, Nibi," said Yugito as she released a mighty blue flame from her mouth, which Deidara dodged as he sent her another bird. Naruto decided to go off with those two, and B's Samos are taking on Kisame, and that leaves us with this guy. Yugito dodged another barrage of clay birds sent towards her. "Well, the cavalry has arrived," said Nibi, as Yugito saw a powerful stream of lightning went towards Deidara, as it was from Darui, the Raikage's right-hand man, as Deidara avoided all of the strike of lightning, before he noticed a flashbang going off. "Lightning illusion, flash of lightning pillar," said C, as the bright light engulfed Deidara completely. Deidara recognized that it was a genjutsu, as he channeled his chakra, breaking it. Upon doing so, he just chuckled to himself. "Cats, move fast, I see," he said, as behind him was Yugito, covered in her chakra cloak. One of her eyes green, one of them yellow, as the necklace that Naruto gave her was shimmering. "So it seems," she said, as she extended her claws and launched at him. At Konoha, same time. "Are you serious?" said Sakura. "Yeah, it wasn't that bad," said Tsunade. "He wasn't the lecturous Jiraiya on our date. He was just Jiraiya. It was quite refreshing." "Are you saying you like Jiraiya now?" said Sakura, as Tsunade shook her head. "Don't insinuate that, Sakura-chan. That won't happen," she said, as she picked up a document on her desk. "There's a long backstory behind that. Well, this isn't the place, nor do I feel like sharing it." Sakura only smiled at Tsunade though, despite her words. "Tsunade-sama has a thing for her teammate," said Sakura. Tsunade's cheeks heated up into a blush. Tsunade stopped as her teacup cracked. Both of them looked down at the cup, as Tsunade got a worried look on her face. "Where is Naruto?" asked Tsunade. Meanwhile, Itachi was looking at Sasuke new Susanoo with the giant wings and a large sword in his hand. Just before Itachi could comment on new Susanoo, his eyes narrowed to the right as Sasuke came down. "Something bad has occurred," said Itachi. Meanwhile, with Naruto, Kakazu was coughing up blood. "Seems like I can't overcome a Senju in battle after all," as several branches were sticking out of his body, as Naruto was standing there perfectly fine in his Kyuubi cloak. "Hashirama, or even this generation, strongest Senju," said Kakazu, as he coughed up more blood. Naruto simply stood in front of him. As Naruto pulled a kunai, "It seems you really are Hashirama's heir, maybe even stronger than I remember him being." As Naruto said nothing, he just planted the kunai straight into Kakazu's head. As Naruto looked over to see A handling Kisame, Yugito, Darui, and C taking on Deidara, he then felt something as he turned. Two people emerged out of a swirling vortex. "I'll be the judge or not, whether you're strong as Hashirama," a voice said, as Naruto's eyes widened recognizing Tobi chakra signature. But he then heard Madara Kurama growl. Kurama was shocked to Madara being here, as Naruto turned fully. It was him, the same statue at the Valley of the End, Madara Uchiha. Madara had his eternal Mangekyou activated. He looked at Naruto for a few seconds before nodded. "You seem like quite the challenge. To tame the Kyuubi inside of you is quite impressive. And hearing these stories about you want me to find out, is there any truth behind them?" Naruto didn't say anything as he just looked at Madara before he was dragged in his mindscape. "Naruto, do not trifle with this man," said Kurama sitting outside of the cage looking down at Naruto. "He knows that Kyuubi," came the voice of Madara as he stood 10 feet away from them. Naruto's eyebrow raised towards Madara being his mindscape, but he chalked it up to him having the Sharingan. Itachi could do the same and so could Sasuke. "How are you alive?" Naruto asked. I suppose I can tell you that. I believe his name was Nagato. He brought me back with his Rinnegan, and this is how I came back to the world. And I'm here to correct the mistakes of my underling, to capture you beasts." Madara! Shouted Kurama. As Madara looked over and locked eyes with the Kyuubi, before Kurama eyes became the Sharingan. Can't deal a mindless beast. Naruto chakra exploded outwards. Madara was shocked when it broke the control he had over the Kyuubi. As Kurama released a scream that blew Madara out of the mindscape. 1 second later in the real world, Madara removed the fan from his back. Do not disappoint me. You have to live up to your surname, Senju, said Madara, as he blew out a violent wave of fire straight to Naruto. As Naruto was quick to act, already placing his hand in the snake seal, wood style. Wood explosion technique, as a large wooden dragon came and surrounded him, protecting him from the fire technique. Madara then had to leap away as a large claw came from the ground. The wooden dragon allowed Naruto to sink back in the floor as Naruto channeled more chakra into his next technique. Wood style, laughing Buddha technique, he said, as more claw hands that looked like the fox paw burst from the ground and attacked Madara. Now that's what I'm talking about, said Madara, as a blue shroud surrounded him as it grew into his Susanoo. As Madara Susanoo had 4 hands, each one had a blade, as it spinned around slicing the claws. As he saw that Naruto already moved. You dance well, there's no faltering in your steps, boy. As Madara Susanoo cracked a bit, as Naruto was there, trying to crush it with a Rasengan. Damn, Sasuke's Susanoo would have broken from the size of this Rasengan, as Naruto had to jump away dodging the fist coming towards him. This Madara is on a whole other level than that Sasuke boy. That technique is based on the user, spiritual energy and willpower. Madara has one of the strongest I've ever seen, said Kurama. You will need Sage Mode to beat him. That is not even the full might of his Susanoo. There's more to it, Naruto said, as he watches Madara Susanoo grew legs and stood in front of him tall. That is not even the full one, said Kurama. What the hell, said Naruto, as Madara smiled at Naruto. Come boy, your last name is Senju, isn't it? Now show me that you live up to your legacy. Show me that you have lived up to Hashirama legacy, he said, as he blew out a stream of flames towards Naruto. Meanwhile, with A, it seems the stories are true about you being the fastest man alive, said Kisame, as he was bloody and beaten up. Kisame had been decimated in his battle against the 4th Raikage, and seeing that Samehata wasn't in reach and wouldn't heal him, A stood in front of Kisame in his lightning cloak as he looked down. I won't allow you Akatsuki to take B. Those other villages may not have cared about your shinobi, but Kumo is different. As his cloak danced even brighter as he prepped to finish Kisame for good, as he rocketed towards Kisame with his arm held out. Lariat, he said. But he didn't touch Kisame, instead he rocketed right past him, smashing into the wall. I can't let you do that, Raikage. I have more use for him, the masked man said. The masked man. So you're Tobi, the real leader of the Akatsuki, A said. As A got the information from Naruto, the man who can evade any attack can be anywhere with your space-time ninjutsu. And lo and behold, he's a Uchiha as well. Someone's done their homework, said Tobi, with a slight irony in his voice. I think his ability is known by everyone now. As A then stepped forward, I know you know better than to touch me, because at that moment, I'll put you 6 feet under. A then vanished over towards B. Tobi merely stood still, before releasing a sigh. This was not how this was supposed to play out, he thought. If he couldn't get to B, and Naruto was being handled by Madara, that meant there was only one option left. With Yugito, she, C, and Darui looked down at the motionless Deidara in front of them. I wonder what he would have done if we didn't stop that last attempt, said Darui. As Deidara, after beaten off his owl by Yugito, knowing that he wouldn't stand a chance against the 3 of them, so he went with his last jump move, an explosion the size of 10 kilometers. But Yugito stabbed him right through the heart with a lightning enhanced claw. Yeah, thank God you thought and moved fast, Yugito. I don't know what we would have done, said C. C then snapped his head around as he saw a large blue entity facing off against Naruto. I didn't know someone in the Akatsuki could do that. As Darui and Yugito turned, none of them can. And I know that technique. It's one of the Mangekyou Sharingan, said Yugito, remembering what Naruto told her of his time with Sasuke. Susanoo is his name, and is much bigger than what Naruto previously described. She was about to take off and help Naruto, but the masked man appeared in front of them. Sorry, Nibi, I can't allow you to do that, he said, as she stared at him hatefully. Not this guy again. But it won't be like the hidden rain this time, she said, as she shifted into her stance. I know your secret. Just before she could move up, large, massive explosion happened where Naruto was. As Yugito looked over to see the entire mountain peak destroyed and ablaze with flames. Naruto-kun, she thought. But guys, I'll be ending this episode right here. If you want the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also stay in tune when we post a new episode of What If Naruto's from the two greatest clans. So stay in tune for that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.